Shout out Q. Shout out Q. Shout out Q. Shout out Q.
Kirby on Sports Podcast. We are here at Millbrook High School. Millbrook girls basketball right around the corner. A senior on the team joining me now, Jaliah Jackson. And first and foremost, an impressive year for you last year, numbers-wise, points-wise. making it to the playoffs, unfortunately falling to Charlottesville. But overall, how are you and how was your offseason?
My off season, it was a little rocky. I didn't do as much as I wanted to, but this season I came back and I'm ready.
Yeah, yeah, ready to go. So more resting in terms of, I know usually off seasons, a lot of travel basketball, but you just took some time to rest.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. So, how is it getting back? Obviously, I know you've been working a lot, doing some fall leagues back then and up in Loudoun County. How has that helped sort of prepare you for this upcoming season?
It got me back in shape. I was really out of shape. So playing that fall ball, it got me back and starting to love the game a lot more than what I did or what I thought I did before.
So, looking, you have the fall league in setting up for preseason workouts, and now we're like a week away from the start of the season. So, how has that helped? And I know there's some younger girls coming up to the team as well. How has that helped in terms of like chemistry and getting set, knowing what you're going to run along those lines?
Uh, Basketball is like a game of learning, so like it just takes time. It took like a long process to get them to understand and everything, but I think they came along pretty well. It's just trying to understand it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've had a scrimmage with one more to come. Sort of take me through how that went. It's a learning experience against a different team, but it doesn't count. What has that been like scrimmaging with your whole squad together, getting set for the start of the season?
It was better for us. I think it helped us a lot to see what we need to improve on before our first final game, being that like not knowing everything yet, but we have at least like a week or two to prepare for that. So I think it was a good preparation for us to get ready for the season.
And just you yourself, what do you sort of look at in terms of a scrimmage and maybe some things you want to work at, some things you do well going into the next scrimmage, into the next practice, even in moving forward into the season?
I would say just understanding where I'm supposed to be and everything like that, and encouraging the other girls too who actually need help on the court and off of it. So I think scrimmaging really like gives us a lead on that.
Basketball, it's not just one player, it's a team. How do you think the team is looking just collectively, the bond together? Because I know most teams around the area have a close bond. How's that bond growing closer as you get ready for the start of the season?
Oh, we're family. There's no question about that. We're all family on and off the court. We all get along. There's nothing that will stop us from being family.
Absolutely. Jaliah, thank you so much for joining us here on the podcast. Really appreciate your time and best of luck to you this season.
Thank you.
Here at Millbrook High School, now joining me, Jay Moreland, another senior on the team, playing sort of all around last year, doing well from three and from two range as well. First and foremost, how'd your offseason go?
My off season was a lot. I was in the gym a lot, working out, shooting. I played two different travel teams. I was traveling everywhere, and I just really worked on getting stronger and definitely like building more muscle.
So, from your high school season to travel season, what are sort of the differences there?
High school was a little rough last year. I got injured. I didn't get to play a lot, but travel, I kind of found like myself again, and I played with more confidence, and I really figured out how to like use my strengths for the good or for better for me.
Absolutely. So, into fall workouts, fall games, if you will, the fall league, and getting set for the start of this season. How has that been going? Just getting back into it, getting acclimated for the start of the season.
I love the beginning of the season because our team really comes together and I get to start hanging out with them more and we really start bonding. And I think it's good, especially we're younger, we get to know each other better, we get to work with each other more, and it's a lot of fun.
Collectively, how has that bond grown from the time fall games have rolled around up until now as you look towards the start of a new season?
I think we really just get to know how each other play. We get to see them in the games, and we get to work well with each other in practice, so it translates better.
Absolutely. And the competition around here, I feel like every year it's pretty good. But in your mind, what do you like most about the competition in this area? Because it seems like every game, local game that is around here, it's well attended, a lot of fans, and great basketball across the board.
I love the local competition. It's people that we've known for a while. I mean, we've been playing the same teams our whole time in high school, so we get to know these girls and know how they play, and we see the whole community come together for it. And I really enjoy just playing against the teams that we get to kind of progress through the years with and see them change.
So tell me, I would imagine you're one of the leaders on this team and some of the younger girls that are coming up through this squad. How are you sort of helping them in a way, coaching them up, making sure they know how Millbrook Lady Pioneers basketball is supposed to be ran in a sense?
We just really have to tell them how we are as a team, get to know them, let them know how we operate, and kind of tell them how it was and how it's going to be playing for Millbrook.
Absolutely, Jane. Really appreciate your time and best of luck to you this season. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Now joining me, the head coach of the Millbrook Lady Pioneers, Cary Bartlett, in his second season. First and foremost, Coach, thank you for having us out. How's it feel just getting back into the swing of things?
This is one of my favorite times of the year. So, it's always been a good time to get the girls back together and get back in the gym and grind, work.
Absolutely. So looking back, your first year, making it to the playoffs, losing in the first round, but even further from that, how did it feel just getting the opportunity to become the next head coach here?
To be honest with you, it didn't feel much different than being an assistant. Nothing really changed. Maybe I moved over one seat, so to speak, but it was kind of business as usual. All the offseason was remained the same. Practices were the same, and really the games didn't feel any different either. So all in all, it was an easy transition.
Yeah, the easy transition. And my next question, how does it feel having a coach in Coach Erick Green Sr. who's been with you? I mean, you've been his assistant for a long time. How does it feel that you like he's your counterpart on the boys' side? I would imagine if you need any advice or something, he's right around the corner.
Well, Eric and I still speak almost daily, so that hasn't changed. Obviously, anytime I need some advice, he's always got input for me. And I kind of just haven't been around him for a number of years now, not just here at Millbrook, but through our Rising Stars travel program. We just kind of have our minds in sync, and we always kind of know what each other's thinking. And so he's great for me to bounce ideas and information off of.
Absolutely. So collectively, looking at this past season, what just really stood out to you as a whole, making it into the playoffs? Obviously not getting to your ultimate goal, but I assume some good basketball across the board that you saw out of your girls.
We did. We had some up and downs throughout the year. I felt like we were peaking at the right time. We just ran into a buzzsaw in Charlottesville. They were undefeated at the time that we played them. And playing them on their home floor, we got out to an early 10-2 lead on them. Just things kind of spiraled from that point. So all in all, 12-11 wasn't our best record that we've had here at Millbrook, but I'm still excited for where we were and where we're going.
So I've usually asked most coaches this is newly changed. You look at the region and the way they have things formatted. It's a little bit tougher to get into the playoffs without the district tournament right there. Did that sort of change your mindset and your team's mindset? I know winning every game is a must, but looking at it, every game carries a little bit more weight, if that's
Absolutely.
A good term to use.
It does. In years past, what we've done is we've tried to schedule a tough schedule, and in hopes that it helps build our team and we get kind of peaked towards the end of the year. We don't have that luxury anymore. So, obviously first game to last game, they all count the same. So each game does carry a lot more weight than it normally would.
Yeah, and like that has anything changed in that aspect or just business as usual?
It's more or less business as usual. It does affect your scheduling a little bit. You're not out there trying to find those top tier teams in the state of Virginia like we have in the past. But that being said, we still have a very tough schedule this year.
Absolutely. Taking a look at that schedule, one in particular, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, a holiday tournament in Garrett County.
That's correct.
So those tournaments, what are your thoughts on playing in tournaments like that? A lot of teams, I believe, I forget who's on that schedule, but a lot of teams you're not too familiar with.
We're not familiar with any of them.
Yeah. So what is that like going into a tournament and playing like unknown competition to you all, although it is a little while out?
I mean, from what I gather from the couple teams that we're going to be playing, they both had very successful seasons last year. So I'm looking forward to seeing how we stack up against them. Second part of that is last season we didn't have games over that holiday break, and I felt like we came back a little stale, a little stagnant to start back up in January. So I'm excited for the fact that we get to play through the holiday this time as opposed to taking that break.
Do you think that helps? Not because the basketball having that break and playing that keeps you sort of in sync, although you're not playing 3-4 games in a row, if you get what I mean?
No, I think it's still important for us to play. As we found out in the fall, practices get labor intensive. They get boring. It's hard to keep people motivated. So, instead of having 2 weeks of practice time during the holiday break, now we get to actually play some games that mean something.
Absolutely. So, in speaking to Jane and Jaliah, it seems like this team is very close to this point. In your mind, your staff's mind, what stands out to you about your team, your squad? You've had one scrimmage already going into the start of the season.
The thing I really like, one, the girls all get along. We have a bunch of great kids in the program. As far as cohesiveness, they're learning to play with each other on the court. We've had a pretty extensive fall schedule with fall league and things like that, so they've gotten a lot of playtime together. We have all the pieces. We've got good post play. We've got solid guard play. We have shooters. We have ball handlers. So we've got all the pieces that a coach likes to have when constructing a team.
Yeah, absolutely. And just rewinding back to your fall league, how huge is that to get your girls together in just a league, just to see where your players are at for this time of the season with games a little over a week away?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say much other than the chemistry was huge. I think that for us, it wasn't as much about X's and O's as it is about, the chemistry, the camaraderie, things like that. Just trying to get the girls together and being on the same page.
Yeah, and going back to your schedule, obviously I asked Jane this, but the Northwestern District, it seems to produce great basketball every year. Just your thoughts on the district as a whole, and how excited are you for this season to get back in playing some basketball?
Right. Obviously, the Northwest District's always been tough. We've always prided ourselves at being near the top of the district. But with four high schools right here in the local community, it really brings an excitement to the area. And I'm proud to say that I think that the 4 schools here represent our district well at the state level as well. So not just community wide. And I love the fact that we all know each other very well. We have a lot of friends on each team. And so there's not a lot of surprises when we get together to play. So
you look at this season to come. You've already had one scrimmage with one to come as we're doing this interview. It's sort of like back in the fall league, but now how the scrimmage go and sort of what were your takeaways out of that?
I was pleased with the scrimmage. I saw a lot of good things. I told the girls in practice the other day that I went back and got a chance to watch the tape of our scrimmage, and I saw more good things than I remembered seeing during the game. But it wasn't anything that I didn't expect. Our girls have been preparing well, and I feel like they'll be ready to go on December 3rd when our season starts.
Yeah, it's coming just in a snap of a finger, and you all must be very excited to get the ball rolling and start a new season.
Absolutely, we're ready to go.
Coach Cary Bartlett, really appreciate your time. Thanks for having us out, and best of luck to you this season.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having us.